All right, talking Aztec football with Sean Lewis, head coach here at San Diego State through National Signing Day. People think the busy time of the year is the season. It's just as busy for you in the offseason. What's this process been like to put this class together, the prep class with the transfer portal class? And thanks for joining.
Yeah, it's great to see you again, John.
Yeah,
It's been awesome, right? It's been a lot of fun. Our calendar now basically works from January to January, right? And doing this thing the right way, we'll have some college football playoff opportunities, by doing our work and handling our business that will extend all the way into January. But, putting the class together and, again, the community support through the Link the 619 campaign that allowed us to do great work to put the prep class and the portal class and the JUCO kids and everyone a part of this whole signing class together in December. The majority of our team is back here on campus, right? There'll be some high school kids that graduate in the traditional sense at the end of May and early June that will join us in the summertime, but the majority of our team that's going to take the field in the fall for 2025 is here. The majority of them have enrolled early, so we are stripping it down, building it back up, and getting to do the beautiful process of building a team and doing that better than we've done in the past, and so that we can have greater results by how we do this work. So we're in the middle here as we sit and talk of week 4 of winter conditioning, and the guys have been going about the work the right way, and we've implemented some new things like earning their colors and putting a greater emphasis on some of the true monikers of our FAST acronym, if you will, of being focused, being accountable, being smart, being tough, and really diving into all those aspects to it. And it starts with having the right people in the building, which is this signing class, which we're really, really excited about. And more importantly than that, it's being able to retain the key pieces of our roster that we were able to at the end of last season, and then being able to have that continuity and consistency to build for the future here in the present day.
I want to get to all of that, but I also want to ask you about the philosophy with how you determine what you need via the prep high school route, which is like a lifeblood, right, of a program you've talked about, but also the need for the here and now in terms of the needs for your 2025 football team with the portal. So how do you go through that process, you and your staff?
Yeah, I mean, it's every single day, right? We have these roster management conversations about where we're at and the older guys that are moving along because of graduation or opportunities in the NFL, to the younger guys that have been, working really diligently while they're waiting for their opportunities to show their value and how they can contribute. And so you kind of assess where the strengths and the weaknesses of your roster are, right? And where you were able to have good success a year ago and with some of the kids that you're able to see coming up through your player development program, and then being able to weigh both of those scales, if you will, right, of where, hey, we need some immediate needs right now and some immediate help right now because we had some upperclassmen or guys who played a bunch move along, right, versus, hey, I think we're pretty strong in this position group and we have some good returners coming back that we can lean on because we know exactly what we have in them, and then their development as well, how that is progressing. But maybe there's not those younger guys that, are in the program right now developing. So you're always kind of looking to balance, right, those two, and making sure that you have, again, the competitive maturity and the competitive depth that you need at the top of your roster, yet have the raw materials and great young talent that you're developing and pouring into as well, so that, again, they're able to step up and to fill those roles as you go. So I guess that's kind of the art, and luckily we have a great talent acquisition department here, led by Sean Dillon, and he really takes our vision and our player standards and our character criteria that we're looking for, so that we get the people in the building, right, that have the physical skill sets for us to win, but also have the right mindset and the character makeup, so that their skill set can be developed over time.
So you've done that at quarterback as well. You've added a high school player at quarterback. You've brought in a couple of transfer portal quarterbacks as well, Jaden Danigal, Bert Emanuel Jr., who we saw last year at Central Michigan. What were you hoping to accomplish, obviously, with the quarterback position heading into 2025?
Yeah, I mean, again, we needed to, with the way things closed up there, right? We needed to get some older, experienced guys, and we needed to get some young talent as well. So bringing in 3 new scholarship players, as you alluded to, with Bart and Jaden and JP, and then having Kyle in the room as well, right? Being able to, again, build out that competitive depth, guys that have a skill set that can hurt you both with their arm and their legs to be able to stress the defense defense in a multitude of ways. And guys that just, love the process of getting better, love ball, and want to dive into it. And so, Jaden coming back home to California was obviously a really highly regarded guy, and, has had a really fun journey at Michigan, but is excited to be back home. And then Bert, obviously competing against him a year ago. We were kind of talking before we started here about, going into it, we knew that we were going to have a specific plan in place to stop him because of his skill set. And so now have that skill set within our locker room, excited for what he brings. And then Kyle's done an unbelievable job of kind of being the veteran, right, and being the leader in the room that has some foundational understanding of what it is that we want to get done and how we want to do it. And to see him, welcome those guys in and to share his knowledge and to share his wisdom has been really cool to see.
What type of skill sets are similar or different when it comes to Bert Emanuel Jr. and Jaden Denegal?
Yeah, I mean, both size and makeup, right, physical makeup, really kind of pops off, right? They're both bigger guys. They're both 6'3 plus. They're both tipping the scales over 220, right? They both have the ability to touch the field with their arms and then have, ability to make plays with their legs. So from that standpoint, just their physical makeup and their ability to both run and pass is very, very similar. So you're going to be able to build out and refine a system around their traits that no matter who is in there, not everyone else around them is going to have to change based off of who's taking the snaps, right? So that'll give us some freedom and some flexibility because of how similar they are in their makeup. And in their skill set in that regard to build out a system that truly, again, features their abilities and features the talents of the people that we have around them as well.
As you know, I mean, San Diego State's had some outstanding tailbacks. Marquez Cooper is on that list, what he did in 2024. So that's obviously big shoes to fill. You had a really talented running back room. You have returnees. You've added some pieces as well. How do you feel about that position heading into the year?
Yeah, I feel good about it. Obviously, Coop took the lion's share of the load last year, right? And so there's a lot of production, with him being out of the building that we need to, replace. And so with Cam Davis and Lucky Sutton and Christian Washington coming in and Sincere, coming off of his injury, being back healthy, and he'll be full go for spring ball, like really excited about those four and what they bring. And again, there's, I've referred to this in the past, but, it's like kind of like having a spice rack back there with those guys now, right? They all do a little bit something different within their skill sets that I think all complement each other really well. And we'll be able to, see who can kind of take down that role of being the featured back, but being able to use all the pieces and all their skill sets in combination. So again, we can stress the defense in a lot of different ways with what they're all able to do.
It feels like you've really emphasized loading up on both sides of the football on the lines, right? Offensive line, defensive line. You had great production, obviously, a year ago on your defensive line. You've bolstered it once again. What has gone into that acquisition? Because it does feel like, obviously, games are won there. People get enamored with skill, but games are won there, and that's clearly been a priority.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, we just saw it, in the Super Bowl, right? The lines on both the defensive line and the offensive line that the Eagles have been able to draft and develop there in their organization, like really took over the game, right? I mean, they were able to change the math defensively by just rushing four, getting home, flooding zones, and not letting Mahomes feel comfortable. And so even though staff did a great job with their relationships, and obviously the kids believing in our vision to, keep Trey and, retain him and Hendo's development as we've gone along, and Brady Nassar's development as the season went along, and Christian Clay are really guys, that have taken the next step forward, and we need to get them to continue to ascend, by adding guys like Niles King and others to the room to bolster out the defensive line. I just don't think you can have enough pieces up front on either side of the ball. Mass still kicks ass, right? Like we want to have as much of that as possible, in the building. And then same thing along the offensive line, right? We were probably a little thin going into last year just because of, things that happened with the portal and being able to replace those guys up front. So we went into it a little bit thin, and then Joe getting hurt and some other injuries that occurred, it turned into musical chairs up front a little bit. And again, just having the necessary size, length, strength, attributes that you need. I mean, the good Lord only made so many people that are that big and that athletic. And again, there's a direct correlation of the way that our community stepped up and everything that's gone on behind the scenes with our collective to be able to go acquire the talent that we need, particularly along the O-line and the D-line.
What's it like to take a collection of individuals and put it together as a unit? I know you touched on this recently at the signing day press conference, but in today's college football, no matter where you are, there's just so much attrition and turnover, and you've got large classes coming in. I know you're also doing this Earning Your Colors here in 2025. What's the process like, taking these classes and individuals and putting them together as a team?
Yeah, I think that's really going to be the magic and the special sauce, right? To be able to take the collection of individuals that you're putting together and to, again, retain key individuals that know the vision, have a belief, and, the cultural processes that you have in place to keep them in your locker room. But then to your point, John, I mean, you're going to have, at least probably 20 to 25 guys year in and year out that are brand new, that are joining the team, that need to get assimilated into how you do it and who they're doing that work with. So, yeah, we've been much more intentional this year, making sure that guys, first and foremost, are invested in this great program and making sure that we restore pride in the program. And that's where the whole Earn Your Colors come from, right? That we have a good, strong, foundational understanding of what a great tradition of winning that has happened here at San Diego State and how we are the keepers of that. And so living to our standards day in and day out and sacrificing for the good of the program and those that came before and honoring the privilege and opportunity that we have day in and day out comes with earning your colors. And then, simply put, too, can your teammates trust you? Can the people in the building trust you because of how you show up consistently day in and day out? So, again, in the middle of 4 weeks here, we've had some individuals who over time have shown that and proven that. So they've earned their colors. They got their red shirts. They got their logos. Others, right now are still in their white shirts and are on that path to doing that, But, again, I think that collective buy-in of we over me. Yeah, there's NIL going on. Yeah, there's these other things that are coming down the pipe with revenue sharing. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the teams that love one another, care for one another, and are connected together, right, around a common cause, they're going to be the ones that go deepest, in the season. And when adversity hits, they have the strongest bonds to weather those storms. And so we're being very, very intentional about those things and want to be really focused on that as the base for this 2025 team, is that the people and the connection and the admiration that we have for being here to do the job and do the work here at San Diego State.
You've touched on it, but what does it say about your program to retain as much talent? I mean, when you think about the players that were most productive for San Diego State in 2024 that had eligibility, they'll all be back almost in 2025. What does that say about, the culture within the locker room and within this program?
Yeah, I think it just speaks to, the belief that those kids have in what we're doing and the relationships between the staff and those young men, right? Knowing that everything that they're looking for to be developed and to have a world-class education and a world-class experience here in San Diego, it's everything that they're looking for. And so, the grass isn't greener. They know where they are and where their feet are and what they started. They are really excited about finishing and seeing through, and they all spoke to, kind of that unfinished business, that when it was all said and done, like, hey, we started something, we want to finish it, we want to do it the right way, and they want to be the group that, again, restores, the pride in the program, right, and gets this place back to where we know that it's capable of, and man, they've been setting the pace each and every single day since we've been back and being the true leaders in that locker room, with their actions and with what they've been doing.
Sean, always enjoy it. Congrats on a successful signing day, and let's do it again before the start of spring football.
Sounds great. Thanks, John.